What's up, fighting fans? Tips from the Fight IQ channel. Today we're back for a new episode of the Fight IQ Unplugged. This week I have the chance and the opportunity to be with Tom Crosby. Tom is a professional MMA fighter, a veteran. He's 36 years old, he has a great resume, and he takes some of his time to be with us. So let's cut to the chase and go have a chat with him. What's up, fighting fans? Tips from the Fight IQ channel. Today I'm with Tom Crosby. Tom, thank you for being with us. So Tom is an MMA athlete with a professional record of 8 wins, 4 losses and 1 draw, and he's representing Asylum Vale Tudo in Leeds. Correct with that? Yeah?
Yeah, Asylum Vale Tudo, or AVT for short is good.
AVT. And could you share with us how you first got involved into MMA?
So yeah, I became involved in MMA off the back of being a fan of the Ultimate Fighter series. And at the time, I thought, I'll give it a go. I was playing rugby league at the time, and I thought, I'll have a go, just for my extra training. And then, I just slowly fell out of love with playing rugby and fell in love with fighting.
Nice.
I tried to do both for a little bit, but it was too much for the body. So I ended up quitting rugby and, just pursued that fighting career.
Nice. And so you from Leeds, like born and raised, right?
Yeah, born and raised in Leeds.
And that's a city with great inheritance in sport. Can you talk about how that has shaped you as a fighter?
I think with the rugby league background, so I like to compete as often as I can, when I can, in whatever I can. And since leaving rugby, I was used to competing every weekend, so you'd play every weekend, and I think I've brought that aspect into my MMA. Now I can't fight every weekend.
No,
but it has been. I would if I could, but when you put everything into play, like your injuries and stuff, and so if there's a grappling comp and available, I'll do it. If a boxing match comes up, I'll have a go. If a K1 bout comes up, I'll give that a crack. And that's what I did all through as an amateur. And I still do that now, obviously, not MMA and striking, because obviously I can't, but I still compete in grappling as often as I can. So just that, I think that shapes me into being an active competitor. That I'd say that rugby background shapes me into being an active competitor.
And so now you're training at AVT in Leeds also, which is a pretty solid team. There's some great teammates that you have, like Jack Grant, Adam Bramholt, and now you have also the young sensation Malik Bazahel.
Malik, he smashed it this weekend on PFLV Batar. Did fantastic opening that card. Yeah,
it was great. He looks already professional, so I think in a few months he will be professional already.
Yeah, that's it. Malik is similar to me, just fights as often as he can. I think he's probably had at least 10 fights this year.
Yeah,
active, very, very active.
Amazing.
He did the IMMAF. Obviously, I did the IMMAF as an amateur as well.
Yeah.
So I think they're good for building your career and getting you prepared and building your foundations, get prepared for professional.
Was AVT your first gym? The first gym you got into?
Yeah, so my head coach, Danny Mitchell, I go back to when I got into MMA. It wasn't AVT. AVT wasn't founded then.
Okay.
It was a local gym called Cage Steel. So I was just training with him. And then when I moved to Australia for a year, that Cage Steel gym shut down and Danny formed AVT. So then when I got back from Australia, and started concentrating on fighting, that was like my home, and it's been my home ever since.
Okay.
I can proudly say I part own that gym now. Yeah, I part own it as well now, so I'm very proud of the team and proud to be a part of it.
Can you describe what's the experience that you got there? Because now you're saying that you're really proud to be part of that team, and that's, I suppose, there's a considerable impact on first your fighting career, but also your life, because people might not know, but when you're part of a gym, it's more than just fighting. It's also a part of life that you're sharing with some guys that became a brother or something like this. Can you take us through that process that you had with AVT over the years?
Yeah. So early days, I was just an active competitor, and then I've got my family as well. And then as my stepson and my little brother, they started training. So then I started coaching at AVT and became like the kids coach.
Okay.
And then as the years have gone by, I've had my own children, and now they all train. And then what I did was, like, from being an active competitor all the way through and coaching, yeah, I built the youth team as well. And like I said, now it's part of me, it's part of my life, it's my second home. I'm there every day. So yeah, like I'll do school runs. On a normal day, I'd do the school runs, then I'd go train, come back, do the school runs again, grab all the kids. I also work as a childminder for my mum and do the school runs for her. Grab all the kids that do the training, take them to training. So I'll coach them kids, my own kids, the children members. And then from there, I'll train again. And then I come home, have my tea, go to bed, and it's repeat. And then that's my Monday to Friday pretty much.
Yeah.
It's long days, busy days, but you know I wouldn't change it for the world. It's like I said, it's my lifestyle now. And like I've mentioned, to part own it as well now with Danny Mitchell and Jason Furness. I've built a business on the back of it.
Yeah, that's great.
Growing the youth side. I love it. I'm busy guy, but yeah, I do love it.
It looks like it. It looks like it. And obviously now you're not training as much as you can because you're injured. Following your last fight, you had surgery. But usually, could you take us through your training routine, like a bit more detail? Like you say that you're training basically from Monday to Friday. You're at the gym almost the whole day.
Yeah. So my regular training schedule would be like I do like S&C on a Monday morning, like usually at this time now.
Yeah.
And then into Jay Furness's MMA advanced class. Then on in the evening, I do a little bit of striking class, and then into just regular rolling. And then on a Tuesday, we've got striking into jiu-jitsu through the day, about 2.5 hours. And then on a Tuesday evening, again, I'd be into MMA technique and then some more rolling or wrestling rounds. On a Wednesday, I lower the intensity rate a little bit just to break that week up.
Yeah.
I do a striking class through the day, and then S&C on the afternoon straight after the school run, and then I just wind down Wednesday evening. Thursday, usually I'm at work, so through the daytime I won't train, and then I'll double up on an evening, and that would be like striking into some like stand-up grappling rounds.
All right.
And then on a Friday, usually I'll chill through the day because Friday night is our sparring day. So I want to be fully fueled for the sparring. And then I'd either rest on the Saturday or the Sunday and just do a little bit of something, whatever I need or what I might have missed through the week. So it depends how I'm feeling on that Saturday, Sunday.
Yeah, you adjust.
Usually catch up with maybe S&C that I might not have had time for. You know, bag work, striking work, rolling rounds, wrestling rounds. Just depends. And then that'd be like Saturday and or Sunday. But I'll rest one of them days as well.
So you mentioned that on Thursday you go to work. So it means that you're not living fully from the professional MMA world?
No. So my mum's a childminder. She runs a childminding business. And then it's not every Thursday, but sometimes I'll go in and cover my mum so she can have some time off.
Okay.
She's doing that full time, and I'm just doing the school runs. So it's only the odd Thursday that I'll do that.
That's pretty great of you to do that.
Yeah, just cover my mum and give her a little bit of a break. But yeah, like I said, if I've got that daytime free, I'd
Yeah,
be in gym doing some striking into some grappling and maybe some wrestling rounds as well.
I see. And do you train differently when you have a fight booked, or are you the kind of fighters that always stay ready for everything?
I try and stay fit and ready. So like I mentioned
Yeah,
before, being active on the grappling scene and stuff. So I want to be ready to jump in any kind of competition if needed.
yeah,
And then the weight class that I do in grappling is 85 kilograms on the day. So if I keep my weight around there, it only take me maybe a week to 2 weeks notice to make that welterweight limit.
yeah,
So I do try and stay ready. However, if I've got a fight booked it long in advance, and then obviously I'll just ramp up that intensity week by week by week.
yeah.
Uh, yeah, like I said, I did. I've not mentioned it. I did 2 week training camp in Thailand for the last 2 hard weeks for this last camp, and that was just insane.
Yeah,
Like intense, full on, but I loved it. You know what I mean? So I like to do that every time, but
yeah, that's
can't really
difficult.
afford that. So it would
No,
be
it's
it's
difficult.
difficult. We're a busy man.
And do you train sometime in other gym as well? I mean, like sometime to share some knowledge with some other gym and have some different sparring partners, for example. It happen?
Yeah. So early January, I didn't have any work, didn't have no school runs. So I went over to Next Gen in Liverpool
Oh,
for a
nice.
couple of days because I'm the youth assistant coach for Team England. The head
Oh,
coach is Adam Bencher, who's one of the coaches over there. So yeah, I just popped in for a week. Well, it was 4 days. 4 days I went for.
awesome.
3 nights, 4 days. Got some cross training in different bodies and stuff like that. But yeah, when I can, I do like to cross train and get rolls in with different bodies and stuff
Yeah,
like that.
that's cool. That
But
keeps you ready.
on a yeah, but on a regular week, it's quite hard to do.
Yeah, sure.
Obviously, with all my other commitment. And then we've got a caravan, so I like to go to caravan
Yeah.
like as much as I can on a weekend. And there's some gyms up in York that I've visited before. Legions is a big striking gym. I've had privates with head coach there, Dave Phillips, and Gracie Barha York.
Oh, yeah.
I'll pop into there and get some rounds in, and then that kickstarts my weekend. Like I said, that's probably every other month. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? That I call in.
that's
Yeah.
pretty cool. You called obviously the Viking.
Yeah.
Where did that nickname come from? Who was the first person to name you like this?
So there's a fighter called Jason Ball, very experienced professional fighter. He was part of ABT. He was professional,
Yeah,
and I was in my early days as an amateur, and I'd not had a nickname yet. And at the time, Vikings the series was
yeah,
on telly, and it was increasing in getting quite
popularity.
popular.
Yeah,
Yeah. And then Jason Ball says, "Who's that? He looks like Ragnar." So then all lads had a laugh and called me Ragnar for a little bit. And then it just like spiraled into being called the Viking. And that's just stuck ever since.
and I think
Yeah,
that suits you well.
I didn't name myself a Viking. No, you've got to earn a nickname, haven't you? You
Yeah,
can't just give yourself a nickname. It's got to be earned.
yeah, I agree. I agree with that. And so let's talk a bit about your amateur days. You started competing in 2013 in amateur.
Yeah,
You had
yeah,
15 fights in 4 years, which is quite a lot. If you compare those days, the amateur, they don't do that much amateur fight. So why did you wait that long to go pro? Or was it even something that you wanted from the beginning, or did it just came out like this? Like you felt like, okay, that's what I like to do, and I think I'm gonna go pro.
yeah. So I wanted to do some more IMMAFs because I had quite a few injuries as well, like knee surgeries and stuff in my amateur days, and
Okay.
I wanted to experience a couple more IMMAFs for experience. And then there's a show in Yorkshire that we were running, and we were like Yorkshire MMA Open,
Yeah.
and I was gonna do there's novice and open amateur, and I was struggling to get matchups. So we were looking for other avenues as an amateur, and we were struggling to get any amateur matchups at that time. I think it was 2018. So Danny Mitchell, my head coach, says, "Look, we'll just kickstart your pro career and get your pro debut booked." But yeah, it was more fights than you've mentioned. On my Tapology, there's a couple of fights that are not on there. I actually had 21 amateur fights.
Okay, yeah, quite a lot.
I think I went 14-6, won no contest.
Yeah, it's quite a lot of fights. So you were already really seasoned for amateur fighter, because now you see those days guys go with 6-7 amateur fights, they already go pro.
Yeah. Wow. I think what it was in my early days as well, especially like 2013 and 14, I was just willing to fight anybody. Yeah. So a few of like my losses was against way more experienced guys as well. So I was just up for it. You know what I mean? So yeah, I wanted to do like in the backstage. You know, I wanted to be a little bit more successful on the IMMAF scene.
Yeah,
sorry.
I understand.
But yeah, injury. There's a couple of times I couldn't do them due to injury. And then the Vegas trip, I was cheated out of a medal. The no contest was due to the American guy testing positive for
that's crazy.
4 times over the legal limit of testosterone. So he made the final and cheated me out of a place. You know what I mean? So I've always said, like, at that competition I deserved the bronze medal, and I believe it was Andy Stanway who got bronze. He deserves a silver medal at least. Everybody should be bumped up one.
Yeah, I agree with that.
We're all cheated out of it. But I appealed, but my appeal was unsuccessful.
Yeah, well, at least you know that was not due to your capacities. That was due to somebody cheating. That's already something.
Exactly.
But were you going? Was it the plan to go pro from the beginning, as soon as you started MMA?
I'd always thought I'd like to go pro, just to say it.
Yeah.
And then because my first fight I was 25. I believe I started quite late on.
Can be seen.
But I just knuckled down, and to where I've got to now at this stage, from the age that I started, I think I've done relatively well. Yeah. And I believe, like, in my head, the body might not hold up, but I can keep going for a couple more years.
I think you look great. You look great.
Yeah.
And did you have an inspiration at the time, like when you were? So you say that you were quite looking to Ultimate Fighter series, but did you have somebody that you were looking up to?
No, not specifically. But watching like the Ultimate Fighters, I always thought all the MMA guys, everybody's like nice guys.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a couple of characters. I don't believe, it's just the front. I believe like MMA guys are nice guys. We'll get in there, we'll go to war, we'll be friends after, and that's how I've found it throughout my whole career.
Yeah.
There's not many MMA guys that I've disliked. I've just found everybody's always friendly and stuff, and you'll get your training done in the gym, and there might be some, bit of aggro, but it's your friends afterwards. It's when testosterone's going, but majority of the time, everybody's a cool guy. And watching all the UFC stars and the coaches, and I just thought, I'll give this a go and see what happens.
And so you competed into the IMMAF, like you said, that was something you wanted, having maybe some more recognition on that level. But
I always thought, like, when I was amateur, like, I wanted to fight for my country. So
nice.
That was a goal ticked off. It was nice to be able to say, I fought for my country at the IMMAF.
So that was sort of a validation you wanted. Also, like, the IMMAF circuit is quite respected, I would say, in amateur tournaments. So
that's it.
Aside from also fighting for your country, you wanted also that recognition on the amateur level, like belonging to the best the best amateur guys. That's what you wanted.
Yeah. Just I believe as an amateur, you've got nothing to lose. So
No, sure.
get in there and fight. Like I said, as often where and when. Like get in there, get that XP. Yeah.
And you seem like a quite strong person. At least that's the impression you give me mentally. I mean, you give that impression to be quite resourceful in the mental department. And I think in the world of MMA, that's something that's quite underrated. Like people are always talking about physical shape, cardio, conditioning, technique, but the mental strength is quite as important. How do you train that part of yourself? Do you have techniques to stay strong mentally, stay focused, or is that something that you inherited through, yeah, all you were raised
Yeah.
and stuff like this?
No, nothing. Yeah. Growing up, I was quite a big softie. You know what I
Okay.
mean? Like, I think I was about 5. I did a taekwondo competition. I got beat and I cried my eyes out, and then I never competed again. And then yeah, so when I got to like teenager, I thought like, look, I've got to just when I started rugby, I just got to do it myself and just get in there.
Yeah.
And then watching the back of like I've mentioned before, the Ultimate Fighter, them guys are just getting in, having a fight, and then we're over and done with. And I just feel like everybody's only human, so get in there, give it your all. If you give it your all, you'll be successful. And if you don't get the result, like the win,
Yeah.
as long as you go in and perform, you know what I mean. That's what you want. And don't get me wrong, I do get nervous for fights, and I think, what am I doing to myself? And then next minute, I'm thinking, yes, let's go. Do you know what I mean? Like the amount of thoughts that go through. But I just think once you get in there,
Yeah.
touch gloves, there's like all them
Something
worries
else.
are gone. Yeah, all them worries are gone. And then when it's over, you're buzzing. You're like, you can't wait to do it again.
Yeah.
And then them nerves will come back again. But
Cycle.
yeah, it's like a cycle. Yeah. But yeah, just get in there.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And is that something you are also trying to teach the youth? So as you say, you're also teaching the youth in AVT and England.
Yeah.
Is that something you try to teach them, or what are you like? What does
Yeah,
it mean to
so
you to teach those younger
I'm
generation?
I'm trying to teach them. Like, there's plenty of times when I like in my rugby days and a kid that I've had opportunities, and I just says, oh, I'm not doing it, you know, because I'm maybe too scared or a bit nervous. Well, I should have just thrown myself in because you got nothing to lose, and that's how I think as a child. It obviously depends on the child and how they are as well. But I try and see, look, you've got nothing to lose. Get in, give it your all, gain that experience, you know, and then on to the next one. And I believe as you're up and coming, especially as an amateur, and then, you know, teenagers that have got stuff, just get in there, get the XP, because the kids and the teenagers, when they get to start doing the headshots, the record resets, and then they're an amateur, and then when they get to the end of the amateur career, the records reset again, and I says, look, you've got nothing to lose.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, obviously you don't throw them in with someone that's going to absolutely annihilate them, but, you know, my attitude is to get them in there, get the work done, get the experience, move on to the next one.
Yeah.
You know, and I think you can learn a lot by staying as active as possible. I try and rub that onto them a little bit.
Yeah, I think that's a really good advice, and that's from your own experience as well. So
Yeah.
I think it's and does it impact you as a fighter also to be teaching? Does it have an impact on you? Do you see something different?
Like, don't get me wrong, the 2 weeks I did in Thailand, I didn't have to do any coaching, so it was great just to be able to concentrate on myself. But, like, it's my lifestyle, so I'm used to it, you know what I mean? So I make sure I get my training in, and then I've got to make sure I've got time to coach the kids as well.
Yeah.
And like, because I've got my stepson, I've got my son, my two daughters. They all compete, they all train as well. So they're a big goal for me as well, to make sure they're picking everything up.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So yeah, it doesn't really make a massive impact. And like I say, I'm just used to it now. So and I love it and I enjoy it.
That's
so
great to hear.
I'll keep doing it. So yeah.
And that's something you see yourself doing maybe more and more as well, now you're still competing, you're still a full martial artist and a professional, but is that something you see yourself going deeper in when you will stop competing yourself, at least professionally?
Yeah, at the moment, my goals when I stop at my MMA career, I'll still need some form of competition.
Yeah, for sure.
Because otherwise, I'll just eat and eat and eat and get big and big. So, like, jiu-jitsu has the masters categories and stuff like that. So I'll aim to compete at them when I retire from MMA. And then yeah, I can just have more time to concentrate on everybody that I coach. And then I could start branching out at ABT and helping out more with the adults as well. Because my role is the head coach of the youth. So
Yeah.
at the moment, I just coach the youth team. But yeah, when I retire, I can branch out and start coaching everybody. Because that time will be there. But at the moment, I don't have that time. So
Yeah.
I just concentrate on the kids for now.
So we're heading now to our quick interlude, which is 10 questions that you have to answer as quick as possible without too much thinking. First thing that comes to mind is called the Fight IQ Dash. Are you ready for it?
Yeah, let's go.
Let's do it.
I'm nervous, man.
Don't be. You'll do great. So, grappling session, you're more gi or no gi?
No gi.
No gi. Sparring sessions, MMA sparring sessions, you're more into technical sparring or full contact?
Technical sparring.
Yeah. The recovery methods, you're more into ice bath recovery or you do active recovery training sessions?
Ice bath.
Ice bath. If you would ever like a rematch, would it be versus Fleminas or Miroslav Broz?
Broz.
Prefer fighting on the undercard in Leeds or be the main event in other country?
Main event, other country.
You like to stick to the game plan or are you adapting to your opponent?
Adapting.
For the walkout music, you like something to hype you up or something to calm your nerves?
Hype.
For the fight night mentality, you're aiming for a finish or you try to pace yourself to last the whole fight?
Always looking for a finish.
When you're not fighting, you're watching fights or you are completely unplugging?
Watching fights.
Yeah. And post-fight celebration, you like quiet time with your family or going a night out with the team?
Couple of beers and family.
Yeah, that's cool. That's a mix. That works. That was it. You see, you did great. No tricks for you. And
yeah, no tricks there. Yeah, that's all right. Actually.
So now we're going to add up to your professional career, which is quite active as well, as much as your amateur days. So you started your professional career in February from 2018, which was almost a year after your last amateur fights, at least according to Tapology. That can be seen as quite a long time for somebody as active as you are. But was it that you wanted to prepare your first pro bout differently? And also, I noticed that you moved down from middleweight to welterweight. Was it also a reason that you waited a year before doing your pro debut?
It was injury that held me back for that long. I'd pulled something in my neck.
Okay.
And I couldn't twist. So I couldn't punch. I couldn't grapple. Obviously, I couldn't wrestle either. Yeah. But what I could do was lift. So I could push because there was no twist. I could squat and I could deadlift.
Yeah.
So that time there, I did a little bit of like powerlifting. Because that's all I could do. And like I've mentioned, I need some kind of competition. I threw myself. I threw myself into a powerlifting competition, which was ended up being January. Okay. For a long time. I'm not sure what it was, but like I just couldn't twist for a good few months.
Okay.
Which held me back. And then the weight classes, IMMAF and middleweight, a lot of time it was you'd weigh in on the day. And then obviously being around about 85, 86 kg naturally, welterweight was the more sensible option because the middleweights are all massive.
Yeah, big guys. Yes, big guys like 95 kilos on a walking day. So yeah, that's logical move actually. Yeah. And the first fight you did, so in February 2018, you won it with a finish in front of your own crowd. How good did it feel like to validate your first pro fight with that that way, in that fashion?
Yeah, it was good because it was local, not far from where I live, and then like tickets wise, that's the best I've ever done for my sales and support. Obviously, being nice and local, it was good. So yeah, the crowd were there and stuff like that. It was really good, and just to get that win and get that kickstart of the pro felt really good. Yeah, and especially like a year at that time felt a long time to not be able to compete due to injury. But yeah,
must have felt good to come back like this. And you had a second pro fight like quite soon after, like 2 months. 2 months is not a long time for those maybe who don't know, but like 2 months is really quick after your first fight. Another win, another finish, and were you willing to capitalize on your pro debut, like being as active as you could be to have a sort of flow going?
Yeah, staying busy, staying active, playing catch up from the time that I had off.
Yeah. But after that, unfortunately, you had a layoff from almost a year also, if I'm correct, from 2018.
2018.
Yeah, you had a year without fighting.
I think I had a knee surgery around about that time. The rolling meniscus.
Okay.
Again, out working around it, meniscus surgery.
So yeah, that also kept you a bit out of the professional circuit for a year.
Yeah. Well, it was just after that fight, April. I tore my meniscus.
Sure.
But previous to that, I tore my meniscus in my left knee. But the pain and the sensations were different. So I didn't believe it was my meniscus at first, and I think I didn't get surgery till the back end of like November, December time, because it were months waiting for it to get better, because I didn't think it was the same as my left knee. But when I ended up getting my MRI, it turned out it was very similar.
Yeah.
But the pain was and stuff was completely different to my left knee. Yeah.
But after
another injury.
Yeah. Maybe that comes also from your rugby days, right? It's quite
possibly, yeah.
After that, in 2019, I think it was a pivotal year for you because you were really active. You had 5 fights in 1 year. That's a lot in professional. 4 wins, 3 finishes. You entered also in bigger leagues. There was the cage steel fighting championship, which is quite popular in the UK. That revealed a lot of talents there. Can you talk a bit about that year for you and how incredibly busy you were in that year?
Yeah, so obviously after my knee surgery, I felt like playing catch up again. And then while I was fit and healthy, I was getting the fights booked. And then that was my first professional loss that year. I lost to Madars. Yeah, again, I thought it was a really competitive fight, that fight. And I've always said the referee stopped that fight early. But I've said I'd never say I'd go on to win that fight. But I do believe the referee stopped that early.
Yeah. Should have left you a chance.
Yeah. Because I was on the way up, I was finding my feet, and then the ref just stopped in. I wasn't hurt. I was tired. Don't get me wrong, I was tired. But yeah, like I said, that was an early stoppage.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was a competitive matchup. I don't know what would have happened. Like I said, I'm not saying I would have won, but you know what I mean. I could have done, but I didn't. You know what I mean. But yeah, that was my first loss.
First professional loss indeed. So that was in July from 2019. But that was also for a title. So that was
Yeah.
also your first title shot opportunity that you had at Cage Steel. Aside from like you felt like it was stopped early, what did you
Yeah,
feel after?
fair play to Madders because he's a beast and he's gone on to be really successful.
Yeah.
And then once I'm healed, I'm hoping to get some training with Madders as well.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
But how did you feel after that loss, except that you felt that maybe you should have fought a bit longer? What did you feel, and how did you bounce back from it? What was the thought you had to say, okay, it's just a loss, I have to keep going, that's nothing?
Yeah, that's it. That's my attitude. Just on to the next one. You know what I mean? It it wasn't meant to be for me. It was meant to be for Madders, and that's it. So yeah.
Yeah.
I do believe I did actually tear my meniscus on my right side round about that time as well. Or was it my left? No, I redone my left one, sorry. But it wasn't enough to stop me from training and fighting. I just couldn't run to do like loads of like bike work and stuff like that. So I was quite tired in that fight, so my fitness wasn't right there. Yeah, because I was quite blowing in that second round.
Yeah.
I can't remember when I had surgery for that. That was the back end of 2019. Yeah, because 2019 I started the year off with surgery, or just before the year, and I finished with surgery.
Yeah. Quite a hard year.
Yeah.
But you bounced back from that loss quite quick, because you had a fight like 2 months later once again that you won. So I guess that's not something that can stop you. Just
no. Yeah. Did I have another one after that, or?
Yeah, you won. You won right after that. Like 2 months after that, you won another fight, and I think you had another one before the end of the year, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I think I waited, and then I had my knee meniscus started on the left side.
Yeah.
So my second surgery on the left.
Big ones. And yeah, after that, unfortunately, that we enter a complicated period, but I think it was for another person, which is the COVID period.
COVID and lockdown, yeah.
You didn't fight for 1 year and a half, which is quite a long time, but like I said, that was the routine for a lot of persons.
Yeah.
How difficult was it for you to be forced out of competing, because in that time there was almost no competition whatsoever in any kind of sport? What did you feel at that time that you were forced out of competing for that long?
Yeah, so obviously none of us could compete. I like to compete. So what I did was set myself little goals. Started my powerlifting again.
Okay.
Did a little competition with my family inside. And then slowly over time I started doing my cellar out, because I've got 2 rooms in my cellar. So at the back it was literally just a storeroom.
Okay.
And then over time I've changed it into a gym. So now I've got my own gym in my cellar.
Awesome.
So yeah, I still sticked away with the training, and I picked up bargains of marketplace, and I also paid a lot of money for regular training gear, because all the prices have gone up like massively in lockdown. But yeah, I've still got that. I've got my cellar gym downstairs. So I had that to get me through lockdown, and then obviously spending time with my family. Quite enjoyed it, to be fair. Yeah.
And did you have? Because I had a talk with Frans Malambo, who is a PFL fighter, and he said that during that time he had to do landscaping as a job to go through with it, because of course there was no money in the fighting world. Did you have to do something similar, like to do others' jobs and stuff like this?
No, so we had something called furlough. So the government paid part of your wage.
Okay.
And then the company that you work for paid a percentage as well. And they like got some kind of refund. So I was still getting a little bit of my wage. And then my income through AVT. Some parents stayed on to support if they were still getting their income. But obviously some parents couldn't afford it, so they had to put their memberships on freeze and things like that. So financially, it went down a little bit, but we were still comfortable. It wasn't too bad.
Okay.
Luckily enough, I had an employer, so I could get that furlough.
Yeah, that's good news because unfortunately there are a lot of stories about gyms that closed during that period, or like difficulty, because of the financial.
Yeah, and people who were self-employed and stuff, I felt bad for them. Like they're the ones that got hit the most.
And after that, fortunately, so that period ended, and you came back to competition in April from 2021. And again, 2021 was a really active year for you. So I guess, again, that thing to catch up for the wasted time, let's say. And you had 4 fights in 8 months, which is also like a fight every 2 months. You had your first draw versus Sean Lomas at Cage Steel. But 4 months after that, so not your next fight, but the fight after that, you avenged that performance by beating Lomas. Was it important for you to... I have to correct that result and beat him in some way?
Yeah, so that's probably the only time I've been really, really pissed off with a result of a fight, because I won that fight and they give it a draw. 2 judges give it a 10-10 round, that last round. And it was, I won. And at that time, I got really pissed off because I'd won. So we got the rematch booked, and I just made. Don't get me wrong, I was trying to finish him, but he's awkward. He's unorthodox, and I just couldn't get a finish. But I completely dominated that, so I had to put that right. And I think in lockdown, because we're coming up to it, like I wasn't getting enough training in. I wasn't getting enough rolls in. It went hard to meet up and get training. Probably won't get enough striking in, but I was just getting a load of training in, like in my cellar gym. Again, which wasn't enough, but obviously a lot of fighters were going through the same thing.
Yeah, a bit of rust. A year and a half is a lot in the life of an active fighter, so I can understand that. It was quite strange to come back to the fighting routine.
I needed to get that rematch booked just to prove everybody, because like I said, I beat him twice. But on the record, it's a draw.
Also during that year, you had your first fight outside UK, at least as a professional. Unfortunately, you lost that fight. That was also for a title, by the way, in Sweden. What was that first experience outside UK, fighting in another country? What was it for you?
Like as an amateur, I'd done it. I'd competed abroad, but the Sweden one were quite strange because we were fighting in an arena with no one in.
Yeah.
They weren't allowed crowds in at the time. But I loved it, and the result wasn't there for me. Wasn't meant to be. But it was a good experience.
Yeah, it was good.
And just like I said, I came back, bounced back from that loss. But yeah, it was a fair stoppage. That caught me with an head kick and then ground and pound me. And I wasn't completely out at that one. But I was trying to get up, but the limbs weren't working right. But that one was a fair stoppage. Yeah, caught me with that one.
Unfortunately, since 2022, you're a bit less active than that you usually were. You competed only twice since 2022, like one time in 2022 and one time 2 weeks ago. Why is that? Why less activity? Were you injured also? You had injury?
Another probably my first serious injury. So my supraspinatus, I'd torn that. I'm not sure how I did it because it started off as a small niggle, so I didn't really think much of it. And then over time, it slowly got worse and worse to a point it felt like it was going to drop off my shoulder. So I had to get a scan. And so yeah, I'd been training. I didn't get surgery in that till July. July 2022. I've been training a good 3-4 months with it, and then I had to wait for surgery.
Yeah.
So I think I did it shortly after the fight. I can't really remember. It might have been just before or just after the fight. But yeah, it never stopped me from training. But then over time, it got worse and worse and worse. And it was a tear in the supraspinatus. So yeah, I had surgery in July. And yeah, it was 9 months, I think 8 or 9 months post surgery before I could like roll again.
Yeah, quite a long time also.
So plus the 3 months I'd had off, like I had a little bit of, once I found out what it was, I had a bit of time off as well. So overall, it was 11 months. I did no full striking. Obviously, did what I could with my other side of my legs, but couldn't wrestle, couldn't roll. For a long time. So that's the reason why I had the big layoff.
Yeah.
And then once I got the all clear from my surgeon, I started competing in grappling. And then we were looking for fights from like September onwards. But we not ever got confirmed or booked from September.
Yeah.
And then I got the title fight on Cage Steel again.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, my opponent had to pull out. And then another opponent steps in, he had to pull out. And then I was told that I was still going to be on the card, like they were going to get me someone. 4 hours into my fast, they text me coach saying, "Oh, he's not on the show, we're not having him," which were quite unprofessional of Cage Steel, to be fair.
Yeah.
So yeah, not happy with them. 4 hours into fast and the tickets that I'd sold and stuff like that, you know what I mean? Like,
it's not fair.
Yeah. And then literally that's how we got into talks with Octagon. Literally the day after, I got a fight offer to fight Bartle.
Yeah.
I said yes straight away, and then we were waiting for days, but yeah, he didn't want it. And then we were just pushing for a contract after that.
Yeah.
At the time, they did offer me a contract, but we were waiting for a while. And then they tried to get me on Newcastle show. A few opponents said no. And then from that, they said, "Look, we're just going to send you a contract, free fight contract, like happy days." Signed the contract, and literally the day after, they offered me bros. I said yes straight away.
Like the fight you did in 2022 was also for a title.
Yeah.
And so that was your third title shot, and unfortunately, that didn't go your way either.
No, came up short again.
Yeah. Did you have the feeling at the time that it was eluding you, or were you still confident? Was like, okay, this time was not for me. The time before also, but someday.
Yeah, just the timing. I just thought, it wasn't meant to be for me. Do you know what I mean? Like my 3 losses, 3 title fights. You know, people mentally would think, you know, it's not for me this, but I just kept going.
And do you still
kept going? I'm not done yet.
Yeah, that's what I mean. I mean, you're still confident that that's something you can get one day, like a belt in an organization. That's
just keep chipping away, keep grinding away. You know what I mean? Like, yeah.
So as you mentioned, now you are an Octagon fighter, which is great organization in Europe. I mean, one of the best. So your fight was 2 weeks ago at Octagon 53 against Miroslav Broz. Like to me, it's the fight of the night for sure. That was a banger, like from the beginning till the end of the fight. Split decision went in favor of Broz, but I think it could have gone the other way. It was a really close fight. I watched it 2 times and I really couldn't say who won for sure. First of all, was it your best performance to date? Is it the best fight you ever did?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, I'd missed it. Obviously, going into the fight, I was thinking about ring rust, cage rust, you know, not performing.
Yeah.
but yeah, I just wanted to perform, and then I've never fought in front of that many thousand people. That charged my batteries.
Great crowd.
Great crowd, yeah. The positivity that I got from the crowd as well, that was insane. And yeah, I thought I performed, and then I watched it back myself, and I thought I won. Watching that round 3,
Yeah.
I thought I did enough to edge a decision.
Yeah.
But it's like I was looking for finishes, I was looking for openings, they just never came. And yeah, like last minute, all out war slugfest.
Was amazing.
Amazing. You know what I mean? Like we both wanted it.
For sure.
We both obviously wanted to put on a show. You know what I mean? And yeah, like I said we had quite similar styles, I thought, as well. And I said, like in all my pre-fight interviews, it was gonna be a war.
Yeah.
And that's what we give. You know. And like before, when I said I was pissed off when the decision didn't go my way against Loma, I can't let myself feel like that again, because it was a long time when I was just angry and depressed and moody, and it's no good for it. Yeah, so you know what I mean. It is what it is. On paper, it's not my result. The win bonus, I didn't get the win bonus, which is a shame as well. But I see it as a moral victory. You know what I mean? There's the amount of people, the amount of messages and support that I've had after the fight is incredible. Like, you know what I mean? Even from strangers and new fans, you know what I mean? Just saying, we thought you won. Yeah, a lot of people. You know, a couple of people said it was enough to be a draw as well, but draws are hard. Draws are hard to score. You know what I mean? And I know judges are not. It's very rare that 10-10s are meant to be given out. You know what I mean? So, yeah, I can't let it piss me off.
Yeah.
You know, I can't let it get to me. You know, so I'm happy.
And I mean, like that kind of performance after the layoff you had against that type of opponent, because Proz is a serious opponent. He has a great resume as well. I think it's already something big that you pulled out. Like I said, it could have been the other way. It wouldn't have been a robbery. Is it something you would like to run back in the future? Like you avenge that draw versus Lomas. Is that something you would like? Okay, I thought I won versus Bros. I would like to run it back. Is it something like this you
yeah, I wouldn't mind running it back. However, I do think his next fight is his retirement fight. I think I've read that somewhere.
Possibly.
So I'm not sure if we'll get the opportunity or the chance to. But yeah, I'm open to fight anyone. So
yeah. So now you say that you have a contract. You have a 3-fight contract. That's what you said, right? So 2 other fights in your contract. Is it meant to be this year? Those 2 fights, or one? At least one.
Yeah, so I think it's over a year. However, injuries are put into place. So obviously I've been put back a couple of months due to this. They got a little pin in there.
Oh, is recovery good, by the way?
Recovery is good. Yeah. I mean, I can move my thumb a little bit. But yeah, it's just the training's frustrated because I'm one-handed on stuff, and you know what I mean, I can't throw a right hand. But yeah, we're getting there, and I'm doing what I can, where I can.
That's cool.
So I'm not being lazy.
No, for sure. I saw you on social media, still training, still eating that tire with the hammer with one arm. I mean, you're getting busy.
Yeah, staying busy.
Yeah.
So yeah, I wanted to fight on the Birmingham card. I think after that performance, you know, a lot of people would have come from Leeds to support me to that. But it's a shame. It's a shame about my injury. So at the moment, my surgeon said I couldn't punch for 12 weeks. I do believe that's worst case. I didn't have a full-on conversation because this was like during surgery. I was awake for when they were doing it all. My guess would be best case scenario would be 8 weeks. So was that another 6 weeks from now? So I can't really commit to anything as of yet. But as soon as I'm ready, then I'll be trying to get a fight booked. So I've got my eye on the June the 8th card in Prague. That would be cool. Amazing.
Yeah.
But like I said, I can't push for it because I don't know if I'm going to be ready.
Yeah, it depends on some.
Just depends on the recovery. But so best case would be June the 8th, and then worst case would be like July.
Yeah.
But I'm not sure. There's no fight cards being announced after June the 8th.
For sure.
But yeah, I'll be back in summertime definitely at some point. All being well.
It would be awesome to see you this summer. That's a fight I would look forward to. No matter the opponent, I will be watching that fight. Looking back at your first professional fights, how would you say that your fighting style or preparation has evolved through the time, for the first fights to until now?
Yeah, so I think all fighters are always evolving, and then what works sometimes might not work the next time, and then so I'm going to take into consideration obviously the 2 weeks I did in Thailand.
Yeah.
That style and that like kind of training that I did into my next camp over a longer period. So yeah, upping that intensity over the time and things like that. But yeah, over time, it's just you're evolving, and then everything's trial and error. So even down to nutrition, you know what I mean. So this time I started because I had the notice of the fight. I started my nutrition way in advance. It's the best and easiest weight cut I've ever done to 77. So yeah, I just take that into consideration for the next one. But yeah, like I said, over the time, from my early days to now, everything's been trial and error and just evolving. Yeah. Taking all the positives from each camp into the next one and getting rid of any kind of negatives. Get that
for sure
out of the way. Yeah.
Was there for you a fight in your career that felt pivotal, like a fight you say, okay, that's from that fight I'm a different person or different fighter, or is there something like this in your resume?
Not that I can think of, no specific fight. However, I'm still on quite a bit of a buzz from this most recent fight, obviously, because it is my biggest layoff since I first started. And then, obviously, to push myself through that 11-month period when I couldn't do nothing, well, don't get me wrong, it was hard mentally, like not being able to do anything, thinking, oh, when I come back, everybody's going to just absolutely annihilate me. But slowly over time, like, even though I wasn't doing it physically, I was still picking bits up and still researching techniques, and it does go in a little bit, and then it was just like more the timing. So to mentally get through that, and then to do this most recent fight, like now I just can't wait for the next one.
Yeah.
You know, I just want to heal this up and get in again.
I like it.
But it's put to be fair, it's put a new fire in my belly. Fighting on Oktagon.
Yeah,
definitely.
And if you try to look a bit forward, I know that maybe you don't like to project yourself too much in the far future, but what are your aspirations within the Octagon organization in the near future? What would you like to realize there?
So I'll just keep going and keep plugging and get as far as I can get. You know what I mean? I'm 36 now.
Yeah.
So I'd like to, become like an Octagon veteran and keep going. It'd be nice to get, well, like I said, another 5 years under my belt and just keep fighting for Octagon. You know what I mean? It'd be nice to finish my career where I am.
Yeah.
So.
That's nice. I think that's a nice goal to have, like finish in an environment that you feel that you
Yeah, yeah.
respect it.
But I'm nowhere near done yet.
No, for sure not. For sure not. When I see your last fight, I cannot imagine you 36.
Yeah, I'm no spring chicken anymore, but yeah, I've still got a good 5 years in me.
For sure. For sure. Well, we are wrapping it up. Thanks again, Tom, for being available for me today, for us.
Yeah, no problem. I really enjoyed it. Thanks for having me.
Have something else to add before leaving us?
No, all good. I've got a big sponsor list, so I'll just do a big shout out to all them that sponsor me. Yeah, big shout out to all you guys. Usually I have a little list lit out, but I don't want to name them all off and forget one. So all them that sponsor me, they know me. So yeah, big shout out to all them.
Yeah, it's important to have sponsors as well. Yeah.
All my family as well. You know I love you.
Thank you so much, Tom. I wish you a healthy recovery. Can't wait to see you back in the cage. And yeah, I'll keep in touch. So that was it for today's episode. Once again, big thank you to Tom Crosby. Took some of his time to be with us and shine some lights on his journey. I wish him a speedy recovery. I hope to see him in the cage very soon. I will put his socials in the description, so go guys, share some love with him. I think he's a really inspiring person and I really enjoy to have this chat with him. If you enjoyed that video, please give a hard punch to those like and subscribe button. Hit the comment, Discord, Telegram, Instagram, you know the drill. I will see you in the next Fight IQ show. Enjoy the fights.